Hey folks, Matthew Weiss here, WeissAdvice.com and Weiss Advice here on YouTube, and coming to you from the good days in Miami. If you want to come on by, hit me up on my email, book a session. We are available now. All right, so in this video, I want to talk about Schwab Digital Hi-Fall. Now, there's a number of videos out on this particular plugin. It's coming from Schwab Digital, which has already made waves with Gold Clip and Orange Clip, and it's no surprise that everybody is loving this particular plugin because so far, they're just making great stuff. However, I wanted to take a slightly different twist on some of the other videos that I've seen, because most of the videos that I've seen have used Hi-Fall in the intended application. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm going to guess that you're something like me, that anytime the manufacturer says that this is the intended use of something, your brain probably goes, yeah, but what about the unintended use? So, of course, anytime I see something that's really intended for mixed bus, my initial thought is, okay, but what happens if I use it on vocals? What happens if I use it on 808? What happens if I use it on drum bus? I start going through those things in my mind because I want to see what the unintentional uses could potentially be. And that's exactly what this video is going to be about. So I'm going to play a little sneak peek here of this record. This is Colby O'Donis. Yes, Colby O'Donis is making a comeback. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek right here. Not too much, just a little bit to kind of, get the ear going. But let's play this down, and then I'm going to explain how I used Hi-Fall in a very, very interesting and really useful way.
Beauty, beast, masterpiece. Look at them pretty brown eyes. Pretty, please, let me see how you made me the lucky guy. You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you.
So one of the things that I struggle with, and I think we all struggle with when it comes to vocal processing, is how to make something really, really bright and poppy, but without being harsh. And we have a million different ways that we have concocted to do this, but I have found a really, really cool way with Hi-Fall. So I'm going to take Hi-Fall off of my vocal here, and we're going to play it, and you're going to hear immediately how dull it sounds.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think the beauty is you at all.
But the S's are still pronounced. Now I'm going to bring Hi-Fall back on, and it sounds like this.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think the beauty is you at all.
It's one of those things where it's not overt at first. It's kind of subtle. It's like the vocal gets brighter without getting brighter. And I'm really, really intrigued by this idea because it's not the typical kind of brightness. In fact, if I wanted to get really, really interesting with things, I could actually use some more traditional brightness into the Hi-Fall processing that I'm going to get to in 1 second, I promise. Okay, so let's say I grab my vocal here from 10K and I start pushing this up. What starts happening?
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think the beauty is you at all. And blind. You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you.
Even pushing it up 10 dB, it's too bright, but it's not really getting harsh. That's because of what I'm doing with Hi-Fall. So I'm going to set this back to something that I like in terms of just a more balanced brightness. I think +4 is probably going to be about what I want, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is what's going on here. This plugin is sort of allowing me to have my cake and eat it too. What I'm doing here is I'm controlling the annoying frequencies, everything above about 2K, which is where things tend to start getting harsh. I mean, yeah, there's some annoying stuff that can happen between 1 and 2K as well, but that's not what I'm focused on here. I'm focused on the things that get in the ear and feel piercing. So I'm doing that using my slow attack, slow release, and with the threshold pretty far down to control all of the upper mids all the way up into the high treble. So it's controlling all of the harsh stuff. That's going to dull the signal out, but it does it in a really, really cool way. It does it in a way that is actually pretty transparent because the intended purpose of Hi-Fall is to remove harsh frequencies without feeling like you're missing the bright tones that they're targeting. Well, that it's targeting, I should say. So let's get specific with it here. Let's listen to this in solo. I'm going to play it without Hi-Fall on.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think your beauty is you at all.
Definitely some bright tones up there, definitely a few sibilant things that I'm not in love with here. So let's turn high fall on and let's turn the parallel part off because we're going to get to that. That's an important part of the equation.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think your beauty is you at all and blinded by the truth.
So right now, it's kind of always active. It's acting on that entire band because of how low I've put the threshold. And it's really reacting to all of those high sibilances, but we still get the articulation. We still have the presence of the sibilances. They're just not harsh anymore. So it's doing its job so far. Now, where the fun thing comes in is this parallel limiter. Personally, I haven't found the parallel limiter to be super useful on Mixbus, but I'm finding it very useful in this use case, and I suspect I will find many others as well. Here I have a cutoff that is now giving me just high frequencies that is then being compressed. So it's a parallel channel, right? It's a duplicate of the signal where I'm cutting out all of the lows, keeping just the highs, and then compressing that. Sounds kind of weird on its own, a little strange for sure. This is where the two kind of interplay together. It puts a constant sheen of energy in while at the same time making sure that that energy never becomes too much. It never gets harsh, it never gets sibilant, it's always there but always in check, which is really, really cool. So if I were to take this down to, say, 0 here, let's put it right there, and bring the whole signal in together, we go from sounding like this.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you.
To this.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think your beauty.
It's subtle, but it's really, really nice. Now, where do I set this parallel limiter? I've found that there's usually a sweet spot. It happens right before this like sort of colorful bloom thing starts to happen. This on the left here is giving me a less compressed signal. To the right, it's giving me a more compressed signal. I think both are going to have their use cases, but I'm going to start turning this more toward the compressed signal. And what you're going to hear is a thickness to the tones start to show up that feels a little nasal or a little bit edgy. You know what? Let me do it with the level up so that we can hear it nice and clear. Here it starts going like it's got this like concentration of frequency going on. I suspect that on synths or guitars, that could be a really, really cool effect. But on vocals, I haven't yet liked it. So I like to go right before we get to that point where it starts to have that weird bloom. And you'll hear as I back it off, it starts to feel like it opens up a little bit. Nice and open. That's the sweet spot. That's where the vocal still feels like it breathes. That's where you can pump as much high end into the vocal as you really could ever want, and it still works. I'm just curious as to what it sounds like with it turned way up. I'm going to say like 6 dB up. Let's see how that feels.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. But you don't see it cause you don't think your beauty is you at all and blinded by the truth.
I mean, it's really bright, but again, it doesn't sound harsh. So if I pop on over into the mix and I hear it before and after.
You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you. You got that type of energy to make a man risk it all and fall in love with you.
I mean, that sounds great. And even if we go to a place where he's singing a little bit more aggressively, like we pop on over to the second verse.
Prettiest thing I ever seen had me jumping up and down like I'm on a prettiest thing I ever seen had me jumping up and down like I'm on a trampoline. Prettiest thing I ever seen, had me jumping up and down like I'm on a trampoline.
I mean, that's with 8 dB. If I turn on this high shelf and I pump up like another 3 dB of just regular EQ coming from that same corner.
Prettiest thing I ever seen, had me jumping up and down like I'm on a trampoline. My ex-girl was ugly, yeah, she looked like Halloween. Wow, prettiest thing I ever seen, had me jumping. Prettiest thing I ever seen, had me jumping up and down like I'm on a trampoline. My ex-girl was ugly, yeah, she.
I mean, to be honest, I haven't really turned this in yet, so I might even keep it with the extra brightness that I've added, because I can add so much brightness, I can get so much top end without ever sounding bad. I feel like I'm kind of doing something I've never really heard in mixes too much before. I mean, even when I've done sort of the roundabout version of this technique, where you send it off to a parallel track, you use your own filter to cut off all the lows, and then you do some compression. So you kind of make like a backdoor multi-band parallel compression thing happening. I can never get that much into it before it starts to sound harsh and weird, but here we have it. It's kind of a cheat code thing, and I love it. So I think I actually really like the record this way, and I think I'm going to send it out this way. I'm probably going to play with it a little bit more just to check, but yeah, the really bright vocals might stick. All right, let's wrap it up here. If you dig this video, hit that like button. If you want to catch more videos like this, click subscribe with the bell notification so you get notified. My Halloween effects tutorial is on sale all through the month of October. Now, it is actually a music tutorial in disguise. I reverse engineered a lot of really classic horror sounds, ghost sounds, evil robot sounds, stuff like that. And then through that, took the reverse engineering of those sounds and then applied them to things like drums and synths to get really, really cool musical effects. So it is a music sound design tutorial disguised as a film sound disguised tutorial, which makes it very hard to sell, but very cool. But you'll see things in there like ring modulators, convolutions, nonlinear reverbs, phasers, flangers, weird stuff that we don't typically see a lot of tutorials on or use too often that can be used to make really, really cool effects. So that's my pitch for that. I really do stand by that tutorial. It's one of my favorites, and I had a lot of fun making it. But anyway, last thing we say here at Weiss Advice, we are musicians, sound is our instrument, and I will catch you next time.